Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our very special Interview with the Witches series. I am your host, Aluna Tarot, and I'm joined tonight, as always, by my faithful companion, Triplechalicetarot.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have a wonderful planned-out evening of tea spilling, getting into the hoodoo, the voodoo, all the good stuff with our special guest for the evening, Miss Jessyka Winston. Jessyka.
Hello. Hi. Hi, guys.
How are you?
Good. What's going on?
We are so grateful to have you on the show.
Yes.
As we spoke before, this show is really about bringing perspective and diversity to all the metaphysical practices that are out there, the different cultures that are rich and beautiful. So glad that you could join us this evening and go in, girl. Bring it in for the hoodoo.
Yes.
Thank you. I am super honored to be a part of this and to be talking to you guys. There's a lot to be said.
Yes, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first question I have for you, Jessyka, I'm sure everyone has this question. What are some of the primary differences between hoodoo, voodoo, and voodoo? Are they rooted from the same seed, or what are some of the cultural similarities and how are they different?
Well, hoodoo is folk magic. So hoodoo was created in mostly the southern parts of America, just by the slaves that were brought to America. It was their way of, I guess, breaking it was their way of feeling better about their situation. So they created magic. They created a practice that it's rooted on the things that were available to them, which is what I love about hoodoo is that you can, it's a little bit a la carte. If you don't have this herb, then you can substitute it for this thing. Just like when it began back in the days, they came here, whatever herb that they used when they were back in their land in Africa was no longer available, so they had to substitute for other things. It's a bit of a blend. It's a melting pot, and it's pretty wonderful. As far as voodoo and voodoo is the original.
Yes.
From voodoo is the original from West Africa. And then you have Haitian voodoo, and you have Louisiana voodoo, which Louisiana voodoo, it's more magic, and it's focused on like voodoo queens and gree bags and just working mojo. It's not very traditional. It's definitely, it was pretty much created by Marie Laveau.
Nice. And I'm sure that's the most popular name.
Yes. And then you have Haitian voodoo, which is it's very much a religion, and it's a direct strain, like direct line from voodoo, which is from West Africa.
Nice. Okay. Taruk?
Hey, Jessyka. How are you?
Hey.
Okay, so my question for you, it's like the basic question, which I always want to know when it comes to, witches and magical people. How did you know as a child, what was your experience? What was your awakening to the spiritual occult world? Like, when did you know that you had special gifts, that magic was real, that, spirits exist? Like, can you tell me, the origin story?
Okay. So for me, it started, my family is Catholic. I think I was telling you last time. Half of my family is Catholic, the other half is Christian. But it's very common in Dominican Republic for Catholics and even Christians to practice voodoo or even some lucumi, santeria on the side, So I was exposed to that through my grandmother. And yeah, that was the norm for me. And somewhere around when I was 11 years old, European traditions kind of sparked my interest. I grew up with my grandma taking me to see santeros and taking me to see voodooists, and it was, I mean, to me that was just a normal thing for someone to be reading the tea leaf of yours and be reading the seashells and be reading bones. But when I started middle school and just interacting, I kind of had this little clique of friends, and we were all so into the craft. You know the deal.
Yeah.
We were all into the craft, and we were all into goth and European traditions. So I started a little bit as Wiccan, and then I kind of lost my way with my connection to spirituality. Somewhere along the line, some really hard stuff started happening in my life that made me forget completely about anything beautiful and anything magic, and I was a hardcore atheist and just turned my back on it. But it's the craziest thing. I turned my back on it, but I never gave up on the love for Halloween and ghosts and spirits, which was, it's a complete contradiction. I always collected tarot cards, and I still, as a quote-unquote atheist, I still consulted tarot cards, which is,
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's wonderful that you had that childhood connection, since like a little girl, you've had that spiritual connection, especially being from a Caribbean background. I could definitely relate to that. But so much more you just connecting and having your grandmother as an influence. So it seems like that's the ancestral thing with you, that you have a ancestral connection to the spirituality,
Yeah, it's very much ancestral for me. It's very lineage, and I never had a doubt about that. But lately, I've been dabbing more into ancestral work, and it's become more obvious that I have blood in voodoo that goes back to West Africa and goes back to voodoo. So that has been an amazing experience for me to explore all of that. And again, I went from being Wiccan and being very much European, which I still somewhat in a way kind of mix with what I do. Not necessarily mix, but I don't shut the door on that. I'm so aware of those deities and those practices. But voodoo and hoodoo are my big loves right now. Like, those are my babies. That's what I'm studying. That's what I practice. That's what I'm learning. That's what I talk about. I live it. I breathe it. I'm seeking out a family to become initiated onto voodoo eventually. That's something that you need to take a lot of time, because once you find your family, it's family. It's a family that you chose. It's very traditional. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, so you spoke about a point that I wanted to dive back into in this period, this phase that you said you went through, and it was before, because I took a look at your website, and you spoke about transcendental meditation practice that brought you to a point of awakening. So I want you to go in a little bit about, what that period was like before you ran into that practice, and then what was the awakening process like for you, and what changed?
Well, before transcendental meditation came into my life, I was just your typical early 20-year-old girl. I've been here in Los Angeles for 7 years, and at that point, I think I had been here for maybe 3 years, and I've always been way too ambitious for my own good. So I had plans and things that I wanted to do. So I was full of stress and full of anxiety, and I was just driving myself. It was a pretty wild time for me, because I wanted to do so much and achieve so much, but everything that I wanted to do wasn't necessarily. It was not the right thing for me, and I wasn't going about it the right way. I was just being I was being very aggressive about it. And the anxiety was over the roof. The depression was over the roof. And one day, like out of nowhere, I've always had an interest for meditation, but I never really allowed myself to get into it. And one day, it was just like divine timing. Someone introduced me to a guru. Well, not necessarily a guru, but he's more of he is initiated into transcendental meditation, and he is allowed to teach people how to go about these practices, and he initiates them. It's a ritual. It's very beautiful. And I decided to go for it, and I went for it, and it was just absolutely life-changing. From the very first day that I did it, I felt everything in my world just started shifting. The way that I saw it, you know how they say if you want the world around you to change, you have to change how you see the world.
Absolutely, yes.
And transcendental meditation did that for me. It allowed me to see the world differently. So the world around me started changing. The world around me started shifting. Wow. All of that spirituality that I had closed the door on and I had walked away from started coming back, and it just started coming back so organically and so strongly. A lot of the things in my life that no longer served me were just falling to the wayside. People who were no longer in my best interest were disappearing. It just one thing after the other, one thing after the other, one thing after the other. It's the best thing. Wow. As of right now, that's like one of the most life-changing experiences that I've had.
Wow. Yes, definitely. That resonates so well. And I think, the door to just really inner peace and really potent magic itself is allowing things that no longer serve you to be let go of and kind of just distance yourself. And that's okay, change and letting things go or not fitting in with the same people. Because a lot of times I feel like some of us as practitioners or things like that, we can feel the pressures of our family and the expectations of society and just what's trending to measure our value or our magical potency by. And so it's just very, very beautiful to hear that change happen in your life. So definitely.
Yeah, you have to. Change is the only guarantee. It's the only constant. If you're not changing, then you're not growing. Then you're not evolving. Then you're not really becoming the person that you're meant to be. Things are not meant to stay the same, and people and situations and material things are not meant to be held on to. You have to, if things come to serve a purpose and when it's their time to go, you have to allow them to go. The same thing with people. Yeah. People come, you learn, they learn, and then when it's their time to go, they need to go. If you hold on to it, you are keeping yourself stuck in the past. Mm-hmm. You're keeping yourself stuck in a situation. I always tell people, like a lot of the times when people come to me and asking me for work to help open their roads or they feel blocked, I tell them, it's like a lot of the times what's blocking you, it's not a thing, but a person. So who are you holding on to? Who are you holding on to? Who is in your life that you need to let go of? Who is blocking you from your evolution? And you'll notice that when you drop that thing or that person, things start moving so fast.
Ooh. Yes, completely. I agree. That's the truth, and I've had to learn that the hard way, okay? I've had to learn that the hard way. But those paths open up for real.
We all kind of learned that the hard way. We all kind of do.
I think that's the only way you probably can learn it, though, right? It's like if it came too easy, if it came with just no strife at all, then we wouldn't really gain any experience or any growth from it. So definitely, the hard way sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes, so go ahead, Taruk, with your question. I'm sorry.
That's all right. The universe has a way of letting us know that things need to happen, like that things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
Like it's like a 3-step thing. First, they tap you on the shoulder, then they give you a push, and then the next is like you get hit by a truck.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And that hit does not feel good.
Don't let it get to the hit on the truck. Just take the tap on the shoulder and go with it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Push, because sometimes we second guess the little tap on the shoulder. We're kind of like, are you sure? And then she pushes and you're like, all right, I got to go now.
But us as spiritual people, being aware of the spiritual realm, we can pay attention to that first nudge and then the second push. A lot of people, they don't even feel it until it's that truck. So it's being people, we're in tune to feel those first two. That's why we have to, be watchful. But yeah, so my question to you, Jessyka, now is concerning the Loa. I just want, your opinion or your belief on the Loa and their evolution, and do you believe, or do you use, Catholic representations of the Loa, or do you believe that we should kind of, take it back to the origin, or because I feel like in a way there's no longer a purpose for the Catholic saints to be used because we're not in slavery times when the slaves needed to hide, the worship of the Loa in to a saint. So my question is, do you believe that it's necessary, or do you feel like it serves a purpose? Like, what is your opinion on the whole situation?
I think that worshiping saints now, worshiping the Loas under the faces and names of saints has become such an embedded, like it's just so much a part of voodoo now that it's really hard for some people to separate it. Me personally, I don't see why we should. It was back then. It was done as a way of you hiding your practice because you weren't allowed to. But now you are. But we've come so far, and we've been doing it for so long. These old folks have been doing it for so long, and so many people have learned to practice this way that trying to take the saints away, I don't think that it can be done. You know what I mean? Like they have become part of the practice, and I don't use them.
Right.
I don't feel any connection to them, which is why I rather I rather find my roots and my connection and my lineage to voodoo through its tradition and its traditional way. No association with Catholicism or Christianity mixed with it, but just like the Loas all the way.
Yes.
No offense to the saints or anything like that, because they're absolutely wonderful, but it's just my preference. I just don't see. I just don't see the point. But I was having a conversation about that with someone yesterday, just about that, how it's just become part of the practice, and not for everybody though, because I know that there are a lot of traditional voodoo, Haitian voodoo people who don't really necessarily use the image of the saints unless they don't have a choice, or unless they have an altar for that Loa and they want to give it a candle, and they'll use the candle that has the face of the saint that is represented with that Loa.
Okay.
Very interesting. Well, going off of a little bit of what you said, because I've often seen some people say that to practice hoodoo or to practice hoodoo itself, that you have to have some belief in Christian influences. Do you believe that having a Christian affiliation, for example, reading the Psalms or, praying to Jesus in your practice, is that hindering or helping the practitioner when it comes to hoodoo?
To be honest, I just recently started using the Psalms for my practice, and I have noticed the difference as far as like my work being
better
strong.
or worse?
Oh
better?
My God, it's so much stronger.
Wow.
But it's so much stronger because it's not because the Psalms per se, but because of the intent and the words that you're using and the energy that you're putting into it. Like, for instance, in European practices, in Wicca traditions, everybody chants. You have a chant that rhymes that you say when you do a spell.
Right,
it just helps. So that's what the Psalms are for hoodoo.
Wow. Okay.
It's the same thing. It's like you're chanting and saying this and that, but you're giving it so much. You're putting so much faith into it. Instead of just lighting the candle and putting your petition underneath it, you're talking to it. You're singing to it. You're praying to it. You're telling it what to do and you're being proactive. You're giving it energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, speech is definitely chanting and speech and actually reading your spells out loud or your incantations out loud. That's like the most necessary form of magic because, when you're connecting to the spirit realm, and it's like you said, whether you want to accept it or not, we do have an ancestral realm. We do have an ancestral lineage, and we do have spirit guides and angelic beings that are working with us. So it's very much more impactful to say your spell out loud and not feel afraid to connect with that esoteric, not esoteric, but the occultic realm, you know, the astral realm. So very good point.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
A lot of people just feel so silly talking. They're like, who am I talking to? I'm talking to the air. Why am I saying this? It's like, absolute talking. You're not just talking to the air. You are talking to yourself. You're talking to your tools. You're talking to your spirits. You're talking to your candles. Your words carry so much power. It is the strongest form of manifestation. You manifest as you speak. We do it on a regular basis, even though we're not aware. A lot of us are not aware of it, but we do it on a regular basis. Our words, our voice has so much power. And so going back to the Psalms, that's what the Psalms is. It's not necessarily because it's a Christian thing, but you can pick one that relates to the spell that you're working, and you say those lines with so much faith in the work that you're doing and what you're trying to manifest, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. Things start moving. Things start going. But it has, you know, I'm not a religious person. I don't practice Christianity, but when I do the Psalms, I don't say it in a way. I don't preach it like a Christian might. I say it comes from me. It comes
like
from
reading from the Bible.
Heart.
Yeah, like
right. I'm talking to my spirits, and I'm like, listen, y'all, this is what is going down. I'm gonna read this to you. We're gonna jot. Yeah.
Let them know. Okay, Taruk, we probably have time for one more question.
Well, we have like 6 minutes left, so I mean,
that's gonna fly right by. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna fly right. I mean, so Jessyka, like, just tell the people right quick, where they can find you if they want readings from you, or get work done, or learn more about Hoodoo, and all of those things. Like, where can people find you online on the internet?
So the best way to reach me lately has been through my social media. So everyone can follow me find me on Jessyka.Winston. That's my personal Instagram, and then there's my house.of Hoodoo, which is my my stores, which is still in it's in progress. It's coming along, damn it. So
progress
me,
for all of us.
It's progress.
Right?
It's getting there. I know my spirits are like, girl, no, you still got too much to learn. You can't be putting out half-ass work. Hold on now. We got you. Just take your time. Take your time.
Yes.
You can't be putting out half-ass work. This is not what we are about.
Hello.
So the best way to reach me is through my Instagram. And then on my Instagram bio, you'll find my website. And if you wanted to book anything with me, then you can go to my website and book directly. There's also my email. It's available there, and you can send me an email. I answer all my emails. A lot of times people just send me emails asking me questions about anything that they're curious about. Someone was asking me things regarding, do you believe in these types of curses, and what is it, our newborns, our ancestors, like anything like that, how do I unblock myself? And I'll give someone just some quick tips. You do this and you do, like if you have questions, reach out and I will do my best to answer. Huh?
No, I was going to say that's amazing. I'm really glad that the magical community is becoming more connected as far as like offering advice and answering questions, and it isn't like this whole like numbers game and I'm so popular so I can't talk to anybody sort of thing. I just think that's so beautiful, and again, so
definitely.
gracious to have you with us on the show. I have one more question.
Yes.
What influential advice were you given when you first started the craft, or within your practice of the craft, that you would like to share with others, and how has this impacted your life?
Oh my God, I have a good one, a really, really good one.
Give it.
So I was initiated as a shaman a couple years ago, and this shaman friend of mine, through the work, I was asking him, it's like, I just need to connect more. I need to open up more. And he did the ritual and everything, blah, blah. It was amazing. It was fantastic. It was more than I ever expected. And he said to me that the medicine is inside of the person. He's like, the medicine is inside of you. Everything that you use, your tools, your altars, those are all extensions of you.
Yes.
If you were to put a bunch of little, if you had a bottle with pills and shook that instead of a maraca, instead of the rattles to call on your spirit, it would still work the same.
It would still work.
Because the medicine is inside of you. The medicine
I love that.
Yes, the power is not in your tools. The power is in you. Your tools are an extension of you. Your tools help you hone in that energy. Your tools help you focus more. Your tools are there for you, but they are not what makes you. The medicine is in you.
And they're not what makes the spell work.
Fierce.
You're the one that makes the spell work.
So fierce.
That was the one that has stuck with me all the way.
Perfect. Well, I'm so glad again and honored that you took the time out tonight to be with us. Girl, you turned it.
Thank you.
No problem. And we will be back with our full moon. Yes, our full moon live reading, which will be very, very, very cool and happening soon, where we'll be taking callers and doing live readings over the phone. So if you guys want to reach out and keep in contact with us, follow us on our Triplechalicetarot page. You can also follow us on our individual pages at Aluna Tarot and also at Taruk Vashal. And do you want to say anything else, Taruk, before we go?
Check us out on YouTube as well. We have the entire archive. The entire archive, you guys, has been uploaded to YouTube. It is all there, okay, up to date. Tonight's episode will be uploaded right now. After the show's over, it's going to be right uploaded to the YouTube, okay?
And we will post the link for that, too. So, yeah, check us out on YouTube, Triple Chalice Tarot. And we wish you all a good night. Thank you for tuning in.